it's Lee from coloringqueen.net, and today I've got a book that I've had for a while. It's the Colortronic Animals, and it's a colour by number book. We'll be colouring from this today, as well as having a flip through of the book. You can see it up there up against Magical Jungle. I've had it for a while, and the reason I haven't reviewed it is because I could never get it in frame. So it's been sitting on the shelf until I got a new camera. So it's got a laminate card cover on the back there, and like a silver but not silver foil cover on the front with laminated coloured letters that are raised, and you get an idea. You can see the little numbers on there of the actual colour by number component of it. This is a great one if you have a minor visual impairment or a motor impairment, or if perhaps you're an older or younger colorist or just a colour by number fan. So at the front we've got the legend. White's not accounted for, so they just leave a blank space where things are white. And then we start off with the bunny rabbit. You can see the legend down the side. They're perforated pages, so you can easily remove them. And what's good for my old eyesight is that the line art's in a dull black, and it's very easy to see, and nice big open spaces, so not too detailed. But great if you just want to, sit and relax, even if you do detailed colouring. Sometimes just doing a colour by number or a mandala can be incredibly mindful and really help you to relax and focus, especially if you're all stressed out. So we've got a great little selection here of images. All the legends are down by the side and not too many colours, which is good. I'm just going to colour with my Crayola Super Tips today, I think. And at the back of the book, we can see the coloured thumbnails of what they will look like. But you could even frame these if you wanted to. The pages are perforated. You can use markers on them or pencils or, whatever your cup of tea is. So cute little images here. And when you take out on the perforation, the colour palette stays behind in the spine of the book. It'd look great coloured up in a kid's room, I think, or even a big kid like me. Here's our cute little koala. Should I colour the koala? I don't know. Nice little rooster. And you can pretty well see what the animals are without even colouring them in. What I like about this one is that the colour palettes that they've selected are really bright and vibrant. They're not realistic, obviously. And just because they've got their colour palettes there, it doesn't mean you can change it up. You can, create your own colour scheme if you wanted to maybe make it realistic, or maybe you want to use pastels, or maybe you want to just do something different. But the good thing is that they've already sort of limited it, and then you can just swap colours out. And plus you can see the finished pictures at the end, so if you wanted to swap colours out, you could see what they looked like. So I'm not sure which one I should colour. I don't know, should it be the bunny or should it be the koala? I don't know. They're so cute. So there's 29 illustrations. The paper is a nice medium quality. I would put a piece of paper behind it if you're using markers, just so that it doesn't bleed through to the next page, or actually take it out of the book. And this is what they look like coloured in. Now look at that bunny, it's all pink and green. The tiger looks really cute, as does the hippo. Oh, now I'm not sure. I'm trying to work out what colours I've got in the Crayola pack of 10 and what ones I can do. The pack of 10 Crayola Super Tips is pretty limited on the colour scheme. It looks pretty cute. And obviously if you don't have all the same colours, just swap them out with whatever you've got. So I think I'll colour up this koala, and I've just got a little basket here of some mixed markers, so we'll see how it looks with just what I've got. Don't want to go to too much effort. I think the part of colour by number that's fun is not working too hard. So I think I might go with this one for that colour. I think that might be too bright. They don't have to be the same colours that they've got on there. I'll go for this one for the 4 and that one for the 5. I don't want to go looking for markers. So number 4. I don't know about you guys, but oh no. No, she dry. I'll have to find another green. Okay, so the Crayola Super Tip Plan B. I don't know about you guys, but I always like colouring one number first and then I go and colour the next number. And I always miss a couple because I can't see them, especially when you're colouring on camera. But then sometimes if it's a big picture I get bored with the one colour and then I have to swap and go on to something else because I get sick of looking at it. There's a book that I've got, I don't think I've ever reviewed it actually, but it's a Hello Kitty colour by number, a Japanese one. And I'd get halfway through it and then I'd get bored with the one colour. You know, being Hello Kitty, it was often a lot of red or whatnot. I actually must dig that video out. I did film it before I started colouring in it. So I know I've got it somewhere. So I hope you are having a lovely day today and that you're doing something relaxing and stress-free like me over here with my colour by number. Well, I've been doing the usual household chores and got the washing on at the moment, so I hope you don't hear it in the background. It's a beautiful day here today. Through the week it's been quite cold and windy, and I was glad that I decided to buy a winter jacket. Originally I thought it was a bit of a waste of money because after I bought it I'd only worn it like twice and it started to get quite warm during the day, and I thought, well, this is a waste of money. I'm not going to get any use out of this. I shouldn't have bought it. So I had buyer's remorse, and then of course we've had these cold snaps and it has been freezing, so I've had to put the jacket on just to hang the clothes on the line and to water my garden. And I have to wait now to water the garden because if I water it at like 6 o'clock in the morning, it used to be a fine time to water because the sun was up and it was quite warmish. But now it's freezing and I don't want my little plants to go, no, don't throw ice water on us. So now I've been watering them about 9 o'clock in the morning. I can't believe it, like my bulbs that I only planted a few weeks ago have all come up, and you know, there's these big long green stems everywhere, which is great, but I'm sort of surprised that they're up this early, and I'm like panicking, like what if they don't flower because they've come up so early. But I see in Australia, because the weird weather that we've been having, a lot of friends in colder places, etc., their bulbs are already in flower, so I'm hoping it's not going to affect my new little bulbs that I just planted. I hope they still come up. Sort of looks a little bit scratchy with the Crayola Super Tips, but hopefully if it looks too scratchy I can go over it with pencil if I need to. And really, I don't think of these drawings as great art for me. I think of them more as a way to relax, and I don't really care how they turn out. It's more about the enforced and focused activity of finding the number and just meditatively colouring around it and trying not to think about things and worry about things and whatnot. So that's all it is for me. But I'd be interested to hear what your thought processes are and what you're doing today. I did have the urge to do some cooking, but that urge passed. And so now I'm not going to. I can't be bothered. I'm trying to get through all my whips that I've had in progress, and I think I've got 2 more that I would like to finish this week. I finally finished that leopard from Grazia Salvo's Wild Soul that I started on film months and months ago. So the other day I just sat down and went, just finish it. And I did, which I was happy with, and I was happy that I can tick that off the whip list. But I've still got Queens of Poland one to finish, and I've still got another one from my giant book from Poland to finish, and one from Worlds Within Worlds to finish. And then all my whips will be out of the way, and I swear I am not leaving anything as a whip from now on. I find it really stressful, probably because I am a little bit OCD, that to have these half-done things all over the place. And I had so many of them that I found it was getting a little bit overwhelming for me just to have like this whole stack of books with abandoned projects in them. So now I'm just gonna buckle down and I'm just gonna finish it. Famous last words. And then I'm not going to start anything until I actually finish it. Now, I might actually work on 2 things at once. I reserve the right to do that. But I'm not going to let the whips build up like they did. And what usually happens is I put them aside because I don't know how to do something. And rather than go and try and figure it out on a bit of paper or whatever, I just let it all build up, and then I go, oh no, I still don't know how to do this, and so I just keep it aside, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I am working through that little issue that I have, and I am getting them finished, and once this lot is finished, it won't happen again, honestly, because it really overwhelms me mentally to have all these half-done things. I don't like it. I really do think I am a little bit OCD, a little bit of a nut job about things. I like things a certain way. I like things cleaned a certain way. I even like the washing hung out on the line a certain way. I am just weird. For some reason my video automatically shut off then, so I don't know what happened. And I don't know which part of my rambling that you may have missed, but... So... hopefully I'll get this little koala bear done today, because I don't want any more whips. So do you guys have whips, and if so, how many do you currently have? I would really love to know. I find it just overwhelming to have them, but that's just me. I'm still going to try and get through my 2020 colouring challenge. So I put it on my blog a while ago. All these different things that I wanted to do in 2020, like colouring wise. Like colour a picture just in monochromes, colour a picture from certain books. So I'm going to start working my little way through those things, because I looked at it the other day and I've only done a few things on the list. And I thought, I'm not going to finish by 2020 if I don't start really getting through this. So going to do that soon. And I've been working on a few big projects that have taken ages, so hopefully you guys will see those soon. And we've still been looking for a dog. Not a lot's coming up on the rescue groups that are local. I think that's all the 4. I think that's all for number 4. So I'll put him aside. And let's change colour to something else. What else have we got? What's 3? It's like a yellow. Let's see if we can do a yellow. Actually, we'll go with 2, which is like an orange. What's an orange? Oh, this is really fine tipped. I'll go with this one. Now, where is 2? Where are you? Come out, wherever you are. Do you guys talk to your colouring pages? I don't know if it's me, but I talk to everything. I talk to the plants. I talked to Millie, and I used to talk to Charlie, and I used to do his voice when he talked back to me. I did wonder if I was going a bit mad, but he said no, so that's fine. I always do Millie's voice as an autocratic cat because, you know, she's talking to her staff. I talk to the plants. They haven't started talking back, which is probably a good thing. But I do talk to the colouring books. Like, you know, what on earth are you doing? What on earth is this? What's this weird shape over here? What's that meant to be? I always find in whatever colouring book I'm colouring, there's always some weird thing that I don't know what it is. Like, it might be a flower, or I don't know. Sometimes there's just like a little bit of a picture and you think, is that part of a dress or hair, or is that part of a flower or something? And then, you know, you might colour it one way and then at the end you realise it was something completely different. Or I always think I've coloured a picture and then I realise I've forgotten something. And I wonder, how can I just miss something that's so glaringly obvious? But I do. And then I speak to the colouring book about it. I go, why on earth did you hide that from me? So I probably do need to get out more when I'm starting to speak to everything in sight. I did talk to the plants this morning. I told Mr. Bean he was doing a fantastic job. That's what I call my collection of beans that are growing. I've got French beans and I think they're just called green beans. Anyway, but I told them that they're doing a fantastic job and to keep it up. And I told all of my tomatoes that as well, that you're doing really well. You can grow up big and strong. So Mummy wants to make some pasta sauce and put it away. Yes, but I am amazed at how many objects or things I can find to talk to around here. I do talk to the neighbours. I guess when you've spent years just like talking for 9 hours and a day, it's really hard not to talk to things. Because most of my days I'd have 3 classes that were 3 hours long. Sometimes they were more, 3.5 hours long, and you would just be talking for that period of time, except for breaks. Gosh, got to let the students away from us for 15 minutes or so that they can get caffeined up and come back. But you get so used to just talking constantly that when you've got no one to talk to, I guess I just have to start talking to the cat and the plants and whatever else. I talk to the people walking their dogs because I sit on the balcony and have coffee of a morning, and people start walking their dogs from about 5:30 onwards. So, you know, we usually have chats every day, and the great thing about it is that I can sit there all warm and snug and enjoy their little dogs and have a little conversation, have my coffee, don't need to move. It's like I'm the neighbourhood watch of early risers around here. But it's nice, you know, you get to see people. There's no social distancing problems or whatever. I'm separated by a fence. But you get to see all the little animals in the area getting a walk by their owners and whatnot. So that's good. And what else have we been doing? David's work is slowing down a little bit, and so he's going to see if he can get some time off so that he can keep me company. No, so he can finish up some things around the house. The problem is, by the time he's been working the last couple of Saturdays as well, and by the time he gets home and or has the weekend, there's so many little things that he needs to do, and he never gets time to finish up the big things. And there's all these little half-done projects around that have got his name on them, and they're kind of building up a bit. So, you know, I really want him to get them finished. And he still hasn't painted 3/4 of the house. And he got the scaffold from work last year to do that. Luckily, I haven't needed it. And he needs to fix some things up, because otherwise I would just do it. But he needs to fix a few things up. So we're planning that he'll do the fixing and then I'll just come in behind and paint. And hopefully we'll get it all finished, because I really want this scaffold out of the way, especially if we get another little doggy, because most of the adoption agencies do a house inspection, and we're fully fenced. We put that in, but I wouldn't like things like scaffold being around in case they think that the little dog would get hurt, which wouldn't be the case, because I would always either be out there with them or they'd be an indoor dog anyway. But I want to make sure that we don't give anyone a reason not to pass us for inspection. So we'll see, and hopefully he'll get that all done, and hopefully it'll all work out that we can get a little doggy once that's done or beforehand. I hope it's beforehand, to be honest, because I really miss Charlie beyond belief, and I also really miss having a dog and taking it places and taking it for walks, and you know, just the general doggy things that Millie, as beautiful as she is, just doesn't do. You know, and dogs just, you know, adore you all the time, whereas Millie doesn't. And I love that about her. I love that cats do whatever they want. That's a big selling point for me, is that they'll always do whatever they want to do. But you do miss the dogs that, you know, just love you no matter what. So it's good. You get the best of both worlds when you've got a cat and a dog. So hopefully something will come up with our name on it soon. I mean, we were starting to get a little bit desperate and thinking that we would put our names down at like a puppy place. But I don't know. I feel like we're only doing it because we're lonely. And, well, me especially. I'm talking to the book. Actually, I'm talking to you and you're not even talking back. What is this? But no, so I feel like that's the wrong reason, you know, being desperate to get a puppy, because a puppy wasn't really on our, you know, list, and I don't want it to be, we'll just get a puppy because I'm desperate and want anything type thing. I still want to rescue a dog and give it a good home like we did with Millie, and so I think we should hold out, even though I would really like something just sooner. But I guess these things will all just work out in the wash. What colour should we do now? What colour? 5 maybe? He's looking a bit... I wonder if that'll do for 5 here. He's looking a bit weird, this koala, but he's relaxing. I'm not worried about going out of the lines either. I'm not a purist with colour by number, I just do whatever. I see in America, I think it was last week, they had such a good special on Copic markers. 97 cents for a marker at like Michael's and stuff. I posted about it on my Facebook page. So I hope some of you were able to take advantage of that bargain if you're into Copic markers. I love my Copics, and I've been trying over the last few years to build up the collection of them, because once I'm finished with all of these cheaper brands, the only thing I'll do is buy like cheap markers just for doing like things like this, and then I'll just buy the Copics for the rest of colouring that's blended and whatnot, but just use the cheap ones on things like this. But I think I've still got about 200 markers to go. I did swatch them out last year. I can't remember if I put that on Instagram or not. Anyway, because I was trying to work out how many I had left to go. And I was able to get some from a lady in Brisbane off Facebook Marketplace. She'd been making cards, and her husband was going to Japan, and she had the Copic chows, and she was upgrading to the sketch, and so she was getting rid of quite a lot of her collection. So luckily I was able to get quite a few more colours from her. Now there was two that were dry and I had to buy refills for them, but other than that it was a pretty good bargain. So I keep an eye out on Facebook Marketplace for people that have tired of using their markers, or they've just changed or whatever, and then I can just get them a little bit cheaper. Doing anything to build up this full collection, but it's only when I've got a few dollars to spare, and then I go, all right, I'll just buy these few. I'm sure I'll get there eventually. And I don't think I want the whole set anyway. I think there's some colours that you don't really need. And just expand it out a little bit, and I don't think, you know, a lot of them are very similar. So just sort of round it out a bit, I guess. It's so relaxing doing this. I nearly dropped off to sleep there. So this afternoon, I think we might just go for a drive or something. I think I really need to get out of the house, but I don't want to go to a crowded shopping centre or anything like that. But I would like to just sort of get out and just, you know, go and sit in a park or something like that. Just something different. Because David still has my car. We've got to get the new car registered in Queensland, and you have to get a slip thing where they come around and do a road inspection on it because it's from another state. So we've got to get someone that'll come around and do that. And so he's still using my car, so I haven't got that freedom yet that I was hoping that I would have already. Kind of looking forward to driving, but I'm not looking forward to driving because I haven't done it for so long. I've kind of forgotten. So I think because it's a new state too, that I'll go onto the roads website and do the tests that they have for the road rules, because I'm not sure that I remember all of them, to be honest. I'm not sure that I know them for this state. So I'll go and just do those online quiz things that they have and get the little booklet or the online stuff just to give myself a little bit of a refresh. I mean, I have driven up here, but it was only briefly. So I guess that's something to look forward to. I will be looking forward to getting my own car back though. And we finally found some awnings for our back window around the corner at a place that's doing a bit of a renovation. And so we bought some windows, awnings off them. They haven't taken them down yet, but when they do, it's my job to clean them and then paint them. So it means I get to use the spray gun again, which I love the spray gun. I love using the spray gun, but I hate cleaning out the nozzle on it. It's a real pain. You've got to stick like pins in it to really clean out that nozzle. But they are such a saving if you're doing fiddly painting or large areas of painting. Personally, I'd spray gun everything in the house if I could. And the other thing that we're doing is when David takes that week off work, we've decided that we're finally going to watch all of the Star Wars in sequence. So of an evening, we'll get them all out and we'll start at the beginning, and each night we'll do like one of the Star Wars things, and then hopefully we'll have seen all of them in actual sequence. And I think I haven't seen, and neither has David, haven't seen the last few Star Wars movies, but definitely seen the first one several times. I absolutely love Star Wars, love it. And having a binge Star Wars session is something that we've been talking about for years. Like years ago I bought David the whole box set of Star Wars so that we could watch it all in sequence, but then they keep bringing out more movies. They've got really smart nowadays, the movie studios, with thinking up prequels, not content with going with sequels. They're also doing the prequels. So there's heaps now that we haven't seen. So we figured if we just did one of an evening, I don't know if we could take doing them all at once, but we'll see how it goes. But that was our little plan, because we've talked about that for years. We both love Star Wars, and it'll be really good to actually see it in the intended sequence, or intended now that they've, brought out all the prequels. The last one I seen of Star Wars, I can't even remember which one it was, but I'd done my back in and I was on medication, and we went to an open air cinema, and I remember, sitting on the picnic blanket, because it's one of those big movie screens that shines out, and everyone brings a picnic and glass of wine, and this one was on in a park, a big park in Sydney called Centennial Park, and there's all of these people, everyone's got their picnic blanket, massive screen in the open air. We had some picnic stuff and we were eating that, and then they started showing the movie, and I'd had this pain medication, and they started showing the movie. I can't remember anything that happened during the movie, and I woke up and the credits were rolling. And I'd slept through the entire Star Wars, which I couldn't believe. And, I'm like to David, well, what happened? And he's like, it started, you fell asleep. And I'm like, well, what happened in the movie? He goes, I'm not going to explain the whole movie to you, forget it. We'll watch it some other time. So I don't even remember which one that was, but it was funny. Pain medication, not to be taken when you're at the movies, but you would think, being in an open air cinema and sitting on the hard ground and stuff, that I wouldn't have just been zonked and knocked out. But what can I say? I've slept through hailstorms, I've slept through an earthquake before, actually 2 earthquakes, and I slept through the hailstorm in a tent outside camping. So I guess once I'm asleep, that's the end of it, and I can even watch Star Wars and fall asleep open air. But I would really love to see all the Star Wars. I was fascinated with Star Wars when I was a teenager, when it first came out. I've seen it, must be 2 or 3 times at the movies, just kept going back and back to watch it again. And it was such a big deal. Like in the country town that I grew up in, it was like huge, Never seen anything so exciting. And back then we only had 2 TV stations, so Star Wars was pretty exciting for me. But I know some people don't like it. I don't know who they are, but I know some people don't. So if you are a Star Wars fan or you're not, let me know if you've seen all of them. It's funny because I often don't like science fiction-y type shows, but there's something about Star Wars. I love it. Jeez. These are pretty big areas here to go over with a Sharpie. I'm wishing I had something with a bigger tip now. I've still been keeping up with my murder mystery and makeup on YouTube. I love that girl. Her name's Bailey Sarian, and she does the murders, mysteries and makeup. She did a few missing persons the other day. I'm such a ghoul, but Millie loves them. She sits there listening intently to them in her little cat basket. I keep wondering if she's kind of plotting something. I like hearing all about the interesting cases. Obviously, they're terrible and gory and all of that, but I was interested in like the commonalities that a lot of these cases have, like the backgrounds in the families, family relationships and conflicts and whatnot, and how people have handled certain distressing events in their life and all the rest of it. I just find that intriguing from a psychological point of view, that many people can go through the same things, but they don't have a negative impact on them later on. And I'm curious, I wonder, you know, why that is, that some people are able to cope with things in a different way as compared to others. I don't want to sound yeah, so I just find it intriguing. I tell you what, there's been some sick puppies in the world. Whew. Really weird. I think I have to find another show that's interesting as background, but not too gory for when I'm not in a gory mood. I do like a nice mystery though, and I'm wondering if I should like sign up for Audible or something like that will read a story to me, because I haven't had a chance to read as many books lately, or actually over the last year or two. And I used to read like a book a week, so I know that's not much compared to some people, but that was with working 2 jobs and whatnot, so it was quite a bit for me. But I haven't had time to read any books, and I'm just wondering if that might be something that I should do, because then I can put it in the background when I'm doing other stuff like colouring. And that's what I do with the murder mystery thing. I have it on in the background when I'm cleaning or when I'm doing something on the computer that you don't need to do much thinking for or whatever. So I just have it in the background as company, really, but really weird company and creepy company. So maybe I'll get Audible. I don't know. Actually, I wonder if Amazon Prime's got a one that does... No, Audible is Amazon, isn't it? No, so that might work. Does anyone here have Audible? If you do, I'd love to hear if you think it's worthwhile for the monthly fee, and if there's any extras that you have to pay for, or is that unlimited amount? I mean, I can't imagine listening to too many books, but I really think I should get that and maybe cancel something else so I'm even on my subscription money, because I have a budget for subscriptions, and I've had to cancel a few things because I took some other things so that I stay within my budget. I have a budget for everything, and it's not a lot. It's like $20, and so I've got to suck every inch out of that. Now, have I done all of those number 5s? I think I have. I think I have. Oh no, there's another. Is that another one? It is. Yeah, some of these are a little bit fine over here to get with the broad tip. So I think what I might do is finish this up and then come back and show you what this cuddly little koala looks like with all coloured in. And we've got koalas around where we're living at the moment, and I haven't seen one, of course, since we've been here, but they have all the signs up, you know, koala crossing and be careful when you're driving. But a lot of the koalas, a lot of people have steel fencing with the chains and the barbed wire on it. I've seen some gruesome photos the other day of the poor little koalas are trying to get through so they can get to a food supply, I guess. And some of the fencing is catching them, so the wildlife rescuers have to go out and locate them. And untangle them, obviously, and then care for them afterwards. So they're proposing to replace the fences with timber log poles so that the koalas can better cross them. So it always interests me, the things that you have to think about with urban planning. Like, they probably thought the chain fences were a pretty good solution at the time, cheap, efficient, not inefficient. And then they probably didn't think about the koala population sort of moving around and trying to access food, because there probably wasn't as much development when they put in a lot of these fences. And so now they've got to go back to the drawing board and come up with some sort of solution so the koalas can cross the road and access food without harming themselves. Because koalas they are just adorable. And even though they're not little bears, they certainly look like little bears. They are cute. They're lovely. Apparently there was one in our tree out the front many years ago when we didn't live here, and it had wandered down because development had pushed it out of its habitat, and I think it was just trying to find a food source. But anyway, they called the Koala Animal Rescue, who came and relocated the little koala. But I just can't imagine a koala sitting in the tree in a suburban street. But I'm glad it picked our tree to have a sit on. And I think it was a tree that's called a leopard tree, but we've actually got 2 trees at front. One is ours, which is a leopard tree. And then council have a tree, which I'm not quite sure what it is. But they're like a foot apart from each other, and they sort of grow up interwoven together. So it might have been the one that belonged to council. Now I can't see any more 6 here, so oh yes, little claws. So I'm going to go and finish this off screen, and I will come back and show you what this gorgeous little koala looks like. So that's it from me. Until next time, happy colouring.